2 years ago today, West Ham United made history, lifting the Europa Conference League final on a thorny night in Prague to mark the end of a long trophy drought. It was 730 days ago. West Ham United reached paradise and claimed a monumental victory to secure a trophy, a European trophy, beating Fiorentina to prove all of those doubters wrong and have our time in the limelight, because boy, it had been a long time coming. Albeit a tricky night in Prague for the Hammers. They dug deep and of course won it in dramatic fashion, courtesy of our hero from Hereford, Jared Bowen. Now married Jared Bowen, I must say. A divinely weighted through ball from Lucas Paqueta saw 5,000 West Ham fans finally poised behind the goal. They held their breath in sheer anticipation of the dream and bedlam that followed. Welcome to the West Ham Unofficial Special, Prague 2 years on. I thought it would be a little bit insightful just to delve into my experience of the day, because everybody's experience of that day is different and unique and tailored to them. And I thought it would be nice to share some of my memories from what was and will always be a magical day in my life and of many West Ham fans as well. So on the day of Prague, the 7th of June 2023, I had 2 GCSE exams. Typical in a 6-week-long timetable, I had 2 days where I had 2 exams, and of course one of those days had to be final day, didn't it? But I didn't mind it actually, because it took my mind off things. Because obviously when I woke up, there was nerves simmering, boiling inside of me about the final that was to come that evening. But I had something to preoccupy me, which many people probably didn't, which probably transcended them into being a bag of nerves all day. But I had at that moment bigger fish to fry. I had a maths exam in the morning and a history exam in the afternoon, and I had to focus on them because they were obviously important. And that managed to divert my attention away for quite a long time before I really began to insert my focus into that final. I think about 7 a.m. I woke up and I was sort of had a lot. My mind was frazzled and I had a lot going on, and I'd had 2 exams, did pretty well in them, I must say. And it was about 3 o'clock. I can remember walking out of the exam hall. I took a deep breath and went, that's done, this is it. And I had so many teachers come up to me that afternoon as I was leaving. Good luck, Jake, hope it goes well. One would say, I can't believe you're not in Prague. And I said, sir, I've got 2 exams today. He went, I'd have went to Prague anyway. But no, all joking aside, it felt significant. Of course it did. People were talking to me about it and like stopping me, and it was brilliant. I had a bit of attention. But in all seriousness, it was a time about 3 o'clock. I got home and I was like, right, this is it. This is our time. I remember I went live. It was an extended build-up show to match the occasion, and it was with Gary. And before we went on air, I vividly remember his first words to me. I won't repeat them because there was an expletive involved, but there was beep, I'm nervous, and I'm sure you can infer what Gary said. I don't think that will ever leave my mind because I was nervous. I've been very, very nervous coming on to do a YouTube show. When I've interviewed a couple of ex-players, maybe I've had a few nerves, but I was really nervous that night to do the build-up show. I felt like I had to match the occasion, felt like I had to get the tone right, and I was really nervous. And Gary's nerve didn't really help me, but we got through it, and we did quite a long one actually. And there was just more excitement than nerves. I sent through the fan base from the people that watched that. And then that finished, and I shut the laptop down. I went downstairs, and you've got Joe Cole and Carlton Cole, and you could just see the fans filling that end of the Fortuna Arena, and it just was a surreal event and location. And the game was scrappy. We know that, of course. It was thorny. It lacked quality, not dissimilar to many finals that we see over the years. We can reference one in Bilbao a couple of weeks ago, can't we? The game itself is a blur in my memory. I can't really remember a hell of a lot. I was only hoping that there was a throwing of stuff, and I hope that didn't sort of divert and transcend and escalate into anything else. But that was an awkward moment when people were throwing cups onto the pitch. I think we could all try and erase that from our memory. And halftime came and went. I spent the break scrolling through Twitter, gauging the fan base's shared nerves. As it kicked off after the interval, that period swiftly after felt increasingly significant. I wanted us to make major inroads in the tie. There was real nerves, and I felt like we need to do something significant to really grab a clutch hold on this game. I wasn't convinced until I saw the replay of the handball. It was a moment out of nothing, really, wasn't it? West Ham players led by Jared Bowen exploded into protest in the direction of the referee, pleading for a penalty on the hour mark. I didn't really get too excited, and then I saw the first replay. And I went, that's a penalty. And I jumped out of my chair and went, that's a penalty, out of disbelief and excitement at the same time. And I knew then that was a penalty. And I knew that we had a moment to make that inroad that I really desired us to do, as I was thinking about at half time. Saeed Benrahma stepped up, heavy breaths and puffing of cheeks followed. I'll be honest, I could barely watch. I think there was a pillow involved. I think I was besmirched and submerged in a pillow, but Saeed Benrahma managed to slot it home. Of course, he rippled it into the top corner, and West Ham led the final. Coincidentally, I did celebrate that more than the winner, because I'll be honest, that moment I had like 14, I've been up for like 14 hours, up at like 7 a.m. and that was at what, 8:45 or whatever. And I just had all of my emotions just left me. Everything that was bottled up for a maths exam, a history exam, all the nerves, it all just exploded out. It spilled out as West Ham took the lead. Of course, they did get it back to 1-1, but I wasn't too disheartened. You know, I felt like this was our time. I felt like it was it. And yeah, of course, the goal set me back a little bit for Fiorentina to get back on level terms, but it didn't really affect me as much as I thought it would. I still had that embedded confidence that we were going to win the tie. And of course, luckily, I was proven right in that sense. With seemingly no time left, Lucas Paqueta picks up the ball, and I think at this moment, I feel like just reciting the commentary, and I haven't got this wrote down. I'll be honest, I've got some things wrote down to prompt my memory about this, but I feel like I can recite Adam Summerton, the commentator, his whole paragraph before the goal and after the goal. It was just poetry, isn't it? And of course, the video gets reposted on Twitter and all the rest of it. But I think you could ask pretty much most West Ham fans, and you could say to them, and Paquetá plays it through, and Bowen's in. It's up for grabs now. He's done it. David Moyes is on the pitch, something like that. West Ham have done it. European glory is theirs. And that's just purely off the top of my memory. And the bit that really gives me the shivers is when he goes, Moyes' mission is finally accomplished. I mean, my English literature side of me admires the alliteration used there, but I think it's got a bigger point than that, in the sense of it was a mission. And that season was really, really hard. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, you can mirror it with Tottenham's season, and they've just sacked Ange Postecoglou yesterday. But it felt like such a long and arduous season, but his mission was accomplished. What he wanted to do and what he aimed to do, David Moyes, he completed it. And you cannot take that away from him in any way, shape or form. And that line, Moyes' mission is accomplished, European glory is surely theirs. Always, whenever I hear it, it just sends shivers through my spine. And yeah, one of the best moments. I mean, I didn't celebrate the goal as much as you probably expect, or everyone else, because I was convinced he was offside. And I almost wish I knew he wasn't, so I could enjoy it more. But I think I went, yes, dropped to the knees and went, is he offside? And I was literally sat here like this, begging, praying that he wasn't offside. I was convinced that he'd gone too early, Jared Bowen, but he hadn't. And then time just seemed to stand still, didn't it? From Bowen picking up the ball to him getting it over the keeper and into the back of the net, it felt like about 6 months. Time literally stood still. It went in slow motion. And I felt like my jaw was dropping more and more towards the ground. And when it finally went in, it was relief partnered with that in the back of my mind, is he offside? And then when we got confirmation, I didn't know what to do with myself. I mean, I think I did shed a tear. I was on the verge of tears. And I just didn't really know what to do with myself. Like, I didn't excessively celebrate. I was just in I was in a complete polar opposite world. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I had a feeling we were going to do it, but when we finally got confirmation, when we finally knew we were going to do it, I didn't know what to do with myself, and it felt like such a surreal moment. I felt like I was literally on cloud nine, on top of the world, and it's not a feeling that I ever plan to forget. There was that time though, it felt like a long time between the goal going in and the referee blowing the full-time whistle, and then the players spilling onto the pitch, the fans going mental, Bowen's on fire on the tannoy. They cross back to Carlton Cole and Joe Cole, who were there jumping up and down, and there's people everywhere. It's bedlam. And I'll be honest, I think I went live with Terry at that point. I went live straight away, and my laptop was downstairs, and I was just drinking in all of the scenes, and I was in disbelief. If you want something to do and you've got a spare 5 minutes, go back and watch my instant match reaction live after the final. You'll never see me so speechless in all my life. I kept repeating the same thing. I was like, I can't believe it. We've done it. We've done it. I kept saying the same thing, and I genuinely couldn't comprehend our achievement. And Terry was in tears, and I was fighting the back, and it was just such a symbolic moment. I loved it. Of course I did. We all loved it. And at the end of the day, it's not something that we're ever going to forget. It's not something that I ever plan to forget. And I could not believe what I was witnessing. Listen, from nearly being bankrupt under the Icelandics, from leaving our home, from the unsavoury scenes of continued protest, disapproving of the running of our club, to European champions, champions of Europe, winners, champions, and unbeaten champions. That's what West Ham did. That's what David Moyes did, and still nobody has done that to match us. Chelsea couldn't do it unbeaten. Villa couldn't do it. Tottenham couldn't do it. European glory is ours, and it's ours to savour forever. And I hope it's not a 43-year wait next time until our next trophy. There are words and phrases not typically associated with West Ham, more like Man City, Man United of a previous generation. You know, how dare they? Those words, champions, European champions, winners, unbeaten, you associate those with the big clubs. And I think you can also lend that into this season as well, because you've got the likes of Palace and Newcastle winning trophies. And I think it's great for football. I honestly do. And I know they shared the same amount of admiration as we do with them this season. And yeah, it was just fantastic. The day after, I put my West Ham shot on, and I did it with confidence. I strided around the place with my claret and blue on, and I've never felt prouder. The morning after, putting that West Ham shirt on and just that beaming smile on my face, I was just so happy. I was so happy. Then we had the bus parade. West Ham fans and players swearing live on the BBC. Bowen's on fire and he's shagging Danny Dyer on the BBC. It was just ridiculous, wasn't it? West Ham are massive. You had Declan Rice on the microphone. Tilo Kehrer had his famous moment, one that will go down in West Ham folklore forever. It was just brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, I just wish I was there on the streets of East London, but even seeing the scenes on the BBC as they live streamed it, it was just unreal, wasn't it? It was just unreal. The whole week can only be described as surreal. And even 2 years on, I can't stop smiling and discussing it. And whenever that video comes onto my Twitter feed, the video of Bowen scoring, I watch it. I feel obliged to watch it. If someone just reposts it just to cheer up someone else's day, I'll go, sometimes people put Happy Monday and put the clip of Bowen scoring on. I watch it. I never scroll past it, because it's a moment for West Ham history. It's a moment for the history books, and we all experienced it. And I feel so grateful to have, lived and breathed that. And of course, for David Moyes, now moved on, now not a West Ham manager, maybe we can appreciate it just that little bit more on this anniversary because of the turbulent season we have just endured. But that's not for this video. This is a commemoration, a celebration of what was a truly special day, a truly special run campaign in a competition that's been belittled, in a competition that has been ridiculed, but at the end of the day, we won it, and we won it unbeaten. Just that one draw which took it away from being 6-15 wins or whatever it is. Just that one draw against Ghent stops us from having that, but regardless, we're still unbeaten in it. And lifting that trophy of our then captain Declan Rice, glorious, just simply Glorious. Look, let me end with this. The Big Six, they win trophies. It's a regular occurrence. It's not something, of course, they celebrate it, but when it's a club like us, Newcastle, Palace, a club outside of the Big Six, it's got an increased presence. It's got an increased importance. And we felt that week. And I just would pay any money to go back to that day. I'd sit those 2 exams again happily if I could experience that moment of us winning and that whole week of just pure joy, because it was amazing. And yeah, listen, put your thoughts and memories of that week, of those few days, and of that historic evening in Prague in the comment section down below. I hope I've done it justice over the last 15 minutes. Champions of Europe, we know what we are. You'll never sing that. And for me, come on your eyes, and I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Prague, 2 years on. What a special night, never to be forgotten. West Ham United, champions of Europe. We know what we are. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.